Hi, Nana. We were learning about the optical isomerism in compounds containing no chiral carbon atom. So, in the part of learning this one, we have seen biphenyls yesterday. Biphenyls are the compounds which does not have any chiral carbon atom, but still they show optical isomerism. Okay. See, actually, for a compound to be optically active, okay, so presence of chiral carbon is not necessary. It is neither necessary nor sufficient condition. So that means chiral carbon should not presence of chiral carbon is not a must and should thing. For a compound to be optically active, the chiral carbon may not be present or else may be present sometimes. So that means presence of chiral carbon is neither a necessary nor a sufficient condition. Then what is the necessary thing? See, presence of chirality or dissymmetry in the molecule. So that is necessary. Presence of chiral carbon is not necessary, but presence of chirality or dissymmetry in the molecule is a necessary and sufficient condition. A molecule which possesses as a whole, if it possesses chirality, or as a whole if it possesses dissymmetry, then such molecule is said to be optically active. Okay, so based on these things, so there are certain compounds which show optical isomerism even they do not contain chiral carbon atom. For example, take allenes. What are allenes? Allenes are the compounds containing cumulative double bonds. So like this, that means continuous double bonds. Cumulative double bonds means continuous double bonds. So here there are two continuous double bonds, here there are three continuous double bonds. So like that, so many any number of continuous double bonds may be present. So here this particular compound it is a allene with a even number of double bonds, and this is a compound with a odd number of double bonds. See the terminal carbons. The terminal carbons. Okay, so they are they may contain hydrogens, or else those hydrogens may be substituted by some other groups. Okay, so the center I mean the middle carbons are sp hybridized and the terminal carbons are sp2 hybridized. Okay, so like this. So this is another allene. So here, for these allenes to be optically active, so there are certain conditions for the allenes to be optically active. So what is the first condition? Allene with even number of double bonds is must. So here this is allene with odd number of double bond. So this is allene with even number of double bond. Whenever even number of double bonds are present, what happens? So these four terminal atoms. So these are known as terminal. These two are said to be terminal carbons, and the atoms which are attached to the terminal carbons are said to be terminal groups. So whenever even number of double bonds are present, then what happens? So the four here the two groups, let us assume one is A and another one is B, or else I may write some other groups like one is hydrogen, another one is chlorine, let us assume. Okay, so these two will lie in the same plane. Okay, next this terminal carbon, it contains two groups. it contains two groups. Okay, so one is, let us assume it is some hydrogen. Let us assume it is methyl group. Let us assume. See, whenever even double bonds are present in allenes, what happens? These two atoms, or also these two groups will lie in the same plane, and the other two groups, they will lie in the perpendicular to the plane. One is above the plane and another one is below the plane. So such condition is necessary for a allene to be optically active. Suppose if even number of double bonds are present, so it is like this. Suppose if odd numbers of double bonds are there, then all the atoms, all the terminal atoms will lie in the same plane. So all the terminal atoms, they will lie in the same plane. But here, with even number of double bonds, the four terminal atoms, they are not in the same plane. So two terminal atoms, they are in the plane perpendicular to the plane of other atoms. So that condition is necessary. That means allene with even number of double bonds is must. So in that condition, what happens? Four groups lie perpendicular to each other. That means here two groups are in the same plane, but these two groups, they are perpendicular to the plane. So this is one condition. And another one is, the two groups attached to each terminal carbon atom must be different. See, these two should not be same. For example, if these two are hydrogen atoms, then this molecule cannot show optical isomerism. These two atoms should be different. The two atoms which are attached to the same carbon, they should be different. Even these two atoms, or else these two groups should be different. Then only unsymmetry exists in the molecule. Otherwise, there will be certain sort of symmetry in the molecule. Okay, so if the molecule to be unsymmetric, then the two atoms or else groups attached to the same terminal carbon should be different. Then only that compound will be optically active. So like this. So the allenes are the compounds. In them, some of the allenes will show optical isomerism under which condition? Under the condition that the double bonds should be even number of double bonds, and the two groups which are attached to the terminal carbon atoms, the same terminal carbon atom, the two groups should be different groups. So that is unsymmetric substituents on both sides. So here the substituent should be unsymmetrical substituents. So that means that the two substituents which are present on the same carbon, they should be different. Okay. There are some other compounds which show optical isomerism without any chiral carbon in them. So let us learn some other type of compounds. So allenes are one type of compounds which show optical isomerism without having any chiral carbon atom. So here this is not a chiral carbon. Even this is also not a chiral carbon. What is chiral carbon? Chiral carbon means sp3 hybridized carbon, and it should have four different groups attached to it. But here there is no chiral carbon atom. But still this molecule or else this compound is optically active. Okay, right. Now let us see some more compounds in which though the compound is not having a chiral carbon, but still that compound is showing optical isomerism, or else it is optically active. So another type of compounds are alkylides. They are also called as exocyclic double bonds. Compounds with exocyclic double bonds. So in these compounds also, these compounds also show optical isomerism Okay, see for example, so such compounds are said to be alkylidines. So here this carbon, so it should have two different groups. Okay, it should have two different groups, maybe hydrogen and CH3, and even this carbon also should have two different groups attached. Okay, it should also have two different groups attached. Okay, so now this compound will show optical isomerism. So here when the two groups attached to the same carbon, that means the terminal carbons, if they are different, then it is said to be having unsymmetry in the molecule. Okay, so then the compound is optically active. Such compounds are also optically active. So there is no chiral carbon in it. Okay, but still it is optically active. See, this is not a chiral carbon, because so here this carbon is attached to carbon and another carbon. So even this side also it is of same type. Hence this is not a chiral carbon. Okay, this is not a chiral carbon. There is no chiral carbon in it, but still the compound is optically active. Okay, such compounds are said to be alkylidines. Okay, right. Another class of compounds which show optical isomerism, but they do not have any chiral carbon atom in it. Spiranes. Spiranes are another type of another class of compounds. Okay. See, spiranes means so like these compounds, so which in which the rings are attached by any two rings are attached by only single carbon. Okay. See, look here. This is an example for a chirene, NH2, hydrogen, NH2 and hydrogen. See, these are the terminal carbons. So the terminal carbons should have two different groups attached to them. Even like how the atoms are present in allenes, or else in alkylidines. In the same way, even in spiranes also the atoms, the distribution of atoms should be unsymmetrical distribution of atoms. So in such case, see, look here, the rings should be even. Sometimes, suppose if it is like this, so here odd number of rings are present. If odd number of rings are present, what happens? That all the terminal groups or else terminal atoms, they lie in the same plane. When they lie in the same plane, then there exists symmetry. But here, when even number of spiral rings, spiranes are present, when even number of rings are present in the spirane, then what happens? A sort of unsymmetry exists under provided that the two groups attached to the same carbon should be different. Okay, so in that case also such compounds show optical activity, or else they are optically active. Okay, right. So even biphenyls, already we have seen yesterday about biphenyls. Biphenyls, that means when two rings are attached directly through carbon atoms of one ring and another carbon atom of the other ring, they are directly attached. Such compounds are said to be biphenyls. So substituted biphenyls. So this is called as biphenyl. So now if this is called as ortho position. In ortho position, if any bulky groups are present, then then it is optically active. So here the condition is that, so the two bulky groups which are attached in the same ring, so they should be different. Suppose if it is like this, then it does not show optical isomerism because it is having symmetry. It is having some symmetry in it. So here, if this is the plane, then the groups which are attached to this side of the plane is similar to the groups which are attached to this side of the plane. So here, no optical isomerism. Such compounds does not show optical isomerism. So if the compounds which are attached to one biphenyl ring, so if these two are different, having different groups, so if these two are different groups, okay, then what happens? Then such molecule will show optical isomerism. Optical isomerism is present. So in this case, when bulky groups are present in the ortho position, what happens? So these two rings, they do not lie in the same plane. So what happens? One of the ring will turn into out of plane. So one will, otherwise those two rings should be in the same plane. But due to the presence of bulky group, what happens? One of the ring will become perpendicular to another ring. So in that case, optical isomerism is present. So here optical isomerism is absent. So there exists symmetry. Here unsymmetry is present. So here there is no chiral carbon in it, but still this compound is optically active. This is not optically active. Optically inactive. This is optically active compound. Right. So these are some of the compounds where they show optical isomerism, though they do not have any chiral carbon atoms in them. Okay, right. Next, there is a term known as asymmetric induction. Asymmetric induction. Asymmetric means chirality. So chirality is introduced into a molecule. Actually, a molecule which is not having any chirality is made to become a chiral molecule. That means introduction of chirality center. Okay, introduction of chirality center in a achiral molecule. Actually the molecule is achiral, but chirality is introduced into that molecule. So such process is known as asymmetric induction. For example, a compound like this, butane, so when it is made to react with bromine, what happens? It forms bromobutane. So one of the hydrogen is replaced by bromine. So what is happening? Actually there should be one hydrogen. Okay, so now if you see this carbon, so it has become chiral carbon. Before that, the same carbon, it was having two hydrogen atoms like this, but one of the hydrogen is replaced by bromine. Hence what happens? So this carbon is having four different groups. This is one group, methyl group, this is ethyl group, this is hydrogen, and this is bromine. So now it has got a chiral center. Hence this molecule, any molecule with a single chiral center is optically active. For example, take an aldehyde, acetaldehyde. So this is the formula, this is the structure of acetaldehyde. Okay, when it is made to react with a HCN, hydrocyanic acid, what happens? This hydrogen will attack here, cyanide will attack carbon. So as a result of this, so such compound is formed. So here there is no chirality, this is not a chiral carbon, but when it is reacted with HCN, what happens? Chirality is introduced into this carbon. So because this carbon is having 4 different groups attached, okay, such introduction of chirality center in a achiral molecule is said to be asymmetric induction. Okay, now we will learn about Fischer projection. Fischer projection. See, actually, a tetrahedral molecule cannot be drawn on the paper conveniently. That means it is inconvenient. It is inconvenient to draw tetrahedral structure. Okay, to draw tetrahedral structures because tetrahedral structures are three-dimensional structures. They are three-dimensional structures. Okay, so on a paper we cannot draw the tetrahedral structure because paper it is having a only two-dimensional. It is a planar. It is a 2D planar. A paper is a 2D planar. So on the paper we cannot draw three-dimensional structure. So in order to facilitate to draw the three-dimensional structures on a paper, so Emil Fischer, a scientist known as Emil Fischer, he has introduced, or else he gave a method, okay, for the representation of 3D structures on a paper. Okay, such a representation or else such a projection of a 3D structure, three-dimensional structure on a paper, so it is said to be Fischer projection. That means those molecules, they are represented on the paper. Okay, the three-dimensional molecules, they are represented on a paper. Such a representation is known as Fischer projection. Okay, so in Fischer projection, for example, suppose if it is this molecule, See here, these two are denoted with wedge. When they are denoted with the wedges, it indicates that they are towards the observer. They are towards the observer. Observer, that means towards me, let us assume. And these two are denoted by dashed wedge. So that means these two are directed away from the observer. So suppose this is the plane. So then these two groups are towards the observer from the plane, and these two are away from the observer. Okay, away from the observer through the plane. Okay, away. That means if these two are above the plane, then these two will be the below the plane. So this is actually the three-dimensional structure. So here this three-dimensional structure can be drawn as Fisher projection. So like this. So while drawing the three-dimensional structure into Fisher projection, see all the bonds are drawn as solid lines. All the bonds are drawn as a solid lines. So that means we don't use wedges. So we don't use either a solid wedge or else dashed wedge. Simply we use solid lines. That means all the bonds are drawn as solid lines. Okay, the horizontal bonds. So these are what? Horizontal bonds. Okay, these horizontal bonds. Actually, it is see here. These two are what? These two are the towards the observer. So actually, these two bonds which are towards the observer. Okay, the bonds which are towards the observer, they are denoted on the horizontal line. So that means, so from the Fisher projection, we have to understand that if any groups are present on the horizontal line, so then those are nothing but the groups which are pointed towards the observer. Okay, that means above the plane. Okay, above the plane of the paper. And the groups which are denoted on the vertical lines, the groups which are denoted on the vertical lines, okay, so it is understood that these groups, okay, they point away from the observer. So that means these two are away from the observer. So the groups which are away from the observer, they are represented on the vertical line in the Fisher projection. Okay, that means these two should belong to the groups which are present below the plane, and these two should be the groups which are present above the plane of the paper. Okay, and here the chiral, this is what? This is the chiral carbon. The chiral carbon should be present in the plane, exactly in the plane of the paper. So generally we omit, we don't write this carbon, but even if we don't write the carbon, but it is understood that, so this is cross, this is a cross symbol. So at the center of the cross, so we have to imagine that there is a carbon which is a chiral carbon. Okay, suppose if there is a longest chain like this, okay, for example, so here the longest chain should be written vertically, it should be drawn vertically only. Okay, so the longest chain, while drawing the Fisher projection, so the vertical line indicates the longest continuous carbon chain, parent chain. Okay, so the parent chain should be drawn vertically. Okay, and here the longest chain is shown vertically, highly oxidized functional group at the top. So the functional group which is present at the top should be highly oxidized. Highly oxidized functional group should be written at the top of this. So that means highly oxidized functional group means the functional group which is the most priority functional group. So generally the carbon, according to IUPAC name, so if you give IUPAC numbering, then this should be this group should get the carbon of this group should get the number 1. So in such a way we have to draw the structure of the molecule. So if you draw the structure in this way, then it is said to be Fischer projection of that molecule. Okay, so this is different from this one because here I have changed it. So okay, right. And one more thing, see, Fischer projection may help us to know whether a molecule containing asymmetric carbon is superimposable on its mirror image or not. Okay, with the help of Fischer projection, so that means it helps to know whether a molecule containing asymmetric carbon, okay, to know whether a molecule is containing asymmetric carbon is superimposable on its mirror image or not, on its mirror image or not, okay, image or not. So with Fischer projection helps us to know whether a molecule containing asymmetric carbon, okay, asymmetric carbon is superimposable on its mirror image or not. See, Fischer projection, in Fischer projection, it is nothing but representation of the molecule in eclipsed conformation. Fischer projection is what? It is representation of the molecule in eclipse projection. So that means in eclipse form, in eclipsed conformation. Representation of the molecule in the eclipsed conformation. Okay, Fischer projection. In Fischer projection, we will represent the molecule in eclipsed conformation. So we will see some examples. Lactic acid, if you see the lactic acid, the Fischer projections of lactic acid, it will be like this: COOH, HOH, okay, CH3, and its mirror image can be shown. It is having the Fischer projection like this. Okay, these two are what? Enantiomers of lactic acid. So now they are this lactic acid is shown in Fischer projection. Butane 2-ol, okay, butane 2-ol, so this is a chiral carbon. These four are different groups. So the groups which are present horizontally, so they should be, we have to imagine that in the original molecule, so these two they will be towards the observer, the groups which are represented on the horizontal line. So it is understood that they are towards the observer in the original molecule, in the three-dimensional molecule. And these two, the groups which are present in the vertical line, so they are away from the observer. Okay, so this is one enantiomer of butane 2-ol. Another enantiomer can be drawn like this by using Fischer projection. So OH, hydrogen. So these two are what? Mirror images. This is a mirror, and these are also mirror images to each other. Okay. Let us see another example, tartaric acid. So its mirror image can be drawn like this. Okay, so here tartaric acid is shown by using Fischer projection. These two are the enantiomers. Okay, so we will learn about the other things in the next video. Okay, we will learn about the configurations. Okay, bye.